Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and Merry Christmas, one and all. Hope you and your families are having a wonderful time in this festive period. And today, let's have a quick look ahead to our Premier League clash away at Nottingham Forest on Boxing Day in a game that I'm pretty sure most Spurs fans are actually not looking forward to at all, especially coming off the back of that humiliating 6-3 defeat to Liverpool previously in the Premier League, and one that kind of has even more so added to a lot more of a divide between the fan base. You know, some saying that they love Angie's football and love being the entertainers of the Premier League. Um, some like myself sitting there going, "This is not the sort of football." And I don't want Spurs to be the entertainers, especially when we're getting spanked by six and conceding the amount of shots we're conceding lately, conceding the amount of goals we're conceding lately. Yes, it's great when the attacking side of things work, it can look great, but ultimately defensively we're so naive and so open, and Liverpool actually came and just kind of proved that. And obviously, as I say, issues as well with things like game management, just before half time at 2-1, thinking you can go in, regroup, and the game is still possibly there to fight for, and then just naively trying to throw everybody forward and getting caught just before half time on the counter, and things like that. For me, it's just not the sort of football I want my team to be playing. And again, just kind of reinforces for me that I don't think Ange is the right man for this club. I don't think tactically he's got what it takes to be at the elite level, mixing it with the elite managers and trying to get a team into the top four of the Premier League. But anyway, like I say, let's have a look ahead to Forest away, and what this is going to definitely be a difficult tie because Forest are absolutely flying in the league. In the last Premier League game, they went away to Brentford and got a win. And this year, that's an impressive win, not on its own, but the fact that this year Brentford's home form has been unbelievable, and they're the first team to go there and be able to pick up points. So, all 3 points. So you've got to give them a lot of credit for that, and got to give them a lot of credit for the way that Nuno's got them playing. And it's that way that they're playing that kind of ultimately, I think, for me, fills me with dread going away to them on Boxing Day in a game that fans will be up for. Again, as I've said before in many videos, I don't think Spurs travel very well. And after that beating at Liverpool, I just think Forest must be rubbing their hands, thinking this is the perfect game for us to have at home on Boxing Day, and one where they'll look to kind of punish our weaknesses. And in those wide areas, you've got Morgan Gibbs White, who's a great player, Chris Wood on fire up front, Hudson-Odoi, Elanga. All those players I can see causing us massive problems on the day, and one that, like I say, I'm not looking forward to seeing how we cope with them. From a Spurs point of view, Bentancur is back from suspension, and Doggy was okay the other day, but obviously Spence played. But I see Doggy coming back in for this game, and we will have a back four of obviously Foster in goal, no choice there. Porro at right back. He may potentially, if he can, if Doggy's fit, you may see Porro get a rest and Spence play at right back. So it's an interesting fight between those, and one that I guess you probably can't call which way Ange will go on that. But I'm reckoning maybe Porro starts. Then obviously it'll be Dragusin and Gray in those centre back positions. Don't really have much other choice. And as I say, I think Ndogi will come back into that left back position. Spence played all right there the other night. Don't get me wrong, against Liverpool, but I think we saw the limitations to him being so right footed in the fact that whenever it came to him, he had to either cut inside or wasn't really comfortable playing the pass with his right foot. So I think that's a limitation that, and Doggy probably offers you something more on that side, obviously naturally being left-footed. The midfield will be interesting. I think Bentancur comes straight back in. Not been impressed with Basuma at all this season. I just don't think we're actually ever going to see the player that we thought we were getting from Brighton. So I think Bentancur comes back in. I think Kulusevski may move into the centre in midfield, and Maddison will find himself on the bench. So I think it'll be Bentancur, Sarr and Kulusevski in the middle. And then I think he'll give Johnson a run out against his old team. We have Johnson, Solanke and Son up top. That for me is the starting side that I think he'll go with. But again, with Ange, you can never call this. You just don't know which way he'll go, or if he feels he needs to change it up even more. But I think obviously we need to go really strong because we're up against it here in this game. This is going to be a tough game and a tough challenge away at Forest. How do I see the game going? As I said, I don't think Spurs travel well, and that's my big fear. And I think with Forest, I just think they're going to be too strong for us at home, in too in form. I think we'll score. I think we'll definitely score, but maybe I can only see us scoring one, and then I can see Forest possibly getting two or three. So I think, unfortunately, as much as I'd love to see Spurs win this game and predict a Spurs win, I just can't. I think we could be looking at a 3-1, 2-1, 3-1 Forest. I'm going to stick my neck out and go 3-1 Forest, and ultimately, I think they'll pile more misery on Ange and pile more pressure on him. And let's face it, I think if Ange hadn't had the easiest game you'll ever have against Southampton, and then what should have been an easy game against Man United because they were dreadful on the night. I think if you took those two games away, I think Hange is in big trouble. And like I say, I don't like his media interviews afterwards. That "Are you entertained" is now being as a stick to kind of beat Spurs with. And I think it's made us the laughing stock among rival fans. It's "Are you not entertained?" So I really don't like it. I think for me, the media are kind of setting Ange up at the moment. They're giving him the ammo. They're loading the bullets, and he's firing them for them. And ultimately, I think at some point it's going to come back to bite him. It's just going to be a matter of when. That defeat to Liverpool didn't help. A defeat here against Forest certainly won't help. Then we've still got some tough games coming up as well after that. And, the form has been, really up and down. The defeats have been really bad defeats this year. And yeah, like I say, I don't know when it's going to turn. Even at 4-1 down in the stadium, people were singing Angie's name. So I still think he's got a lot of support, but I think it's going to waver very quickly. Two or three defeats now again, and bad defeats at that with bad performances. And I think people are going to turn. Everyone's using the injury stuff as an excuse. But, when you look at those games, for me, it is really only the central defensive positions that you could say Spurs have been really weak in. you know, Up until obviously the Man United game, Foster had been really good. So we hadn't noticed a weakness in that area. The midfield, we'd always been able to pick, arguably, some people could say our best midfield three. And then obviously the front line, we'd always been able to select possibly what we could argue as our strongest front three. So the injury stuff, I'm not buying it as the excuse that needs to be used. It doesn't wash with me. So let's see how we get on. I think Ange would need a win here, just to get himself a bit of breathing space, but I don't see it coming. Let me know what you think. Let us know what you think the score prediction will be. Let us know if you think you see anything Ange pulling a surprise in terms of selection or whatever. As I say, have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you after the Forest game for the maybe like review of that game, and hopefully we can be talking about a win just to cheer everything up at Christmas as well. We'll see you on the next one. Come on, you Spurs.